Imagine this, a world where billions are at your disposal, luxury knows no limits, and power appears infinite. Private islands, extravagant estates, fleets of cars. These icons of unimaginable wealth once belonged to some of history's most notorious figures. But as quickly as it all came, it vanished. We're about to journey through the lives of the 10 wealthiest gangsters in history, exploring their staggering riches, the audacious methods they used, and the steep costs of their life choices. Despite amassing fortunes that most can only dream of, few of them truly reaped the rewards. Instead, they became cautionary tales, reminders that in the world of crime, the higher you soar, the harder you fall. Without further ado, let's dive into the ranks of these infamous figures, beginning with number 10. Number 10. Frank Lucas, the Harlem Kingpin. Estimated fortune, $530 million in today's value. Frank Lucas, immortalized by Denzel Washington in American Gangster, was once Harlem's dominant heroin supplier. Lucas bypassed the usual middlemen, mainly the Italian mafia, by sourcing heroin directly from Southeast Asia, creating his own network during the Vietnam War. At his peak, Lucas claimed to make over $1 million per day through the distribution of his brand of heroin, infamously known as Blue Magic. Using his family as trusted employees, in what he called the Country Boys crew, Lucas's empire grew, until law enforcement caught up with him in 1975. Despite his vast wealth, Lucas couldn't escape a lengthy prison sentence, a stark reminder that in the end, no criminal can outmaneuver the law forever. Number 9. Meer Lansky, the mob's financial genius. Estimated fortune, $600 million. Modern value, over $1.7 billion. Not every criminal gains notoriety, and Meer Lansky is a prime example. Born in Poland and raised in New York City, Lansky's power came from his financial genius and his unique ability to blur the lines between legal and illicit ventures. He was a visionary in the gambling industry, establishing casinos across the US, and even in Cuba, until Castro took control. His collaborations with notorious figures like Lucky Luciano cemented his status in organized crime, and he was a founding force behind Murder, Inc., the mob's infamous hit squad. Despite a lifelong career in crime, Lansky managed to avoid major convictions, dying as a free man at 83. His legacy highlights how some of the most dangerous figures often remain hidden in the shadows. Number 8. Anthony Fat Tony Salerno, Harlem's hidden billionaire. Estimated fortune, $2.3 billion. To the unassuming public, Anthony Fat Tony Salerno appeared to be an average cigar-chomping figure. Yet beneath this exterior lay a mob boss who controlled key operations in the Genovese crime family. Salerno dominated the drug trade and numbers rackets in East Harlem, and his influence extended to the construction sector and labor unions across New York. His empire fell during the infamous Commission trial, which targeted the leaders of the city's 5 major crime families. In 1988, he was sentenced to 70 years in prison, demonstrating that even the most powerful crime lords cannot outrun the reach of the law. Number 7. Grela Blanco, the ruthless cocaine godmother. Estimated fortune, $2.5 billion. Known as the Cocaine Queen of Miami, Grela Blanco built her empire smuggling cocaine during the 1970s and 1980s. Blanco's operations allegedly pulled in around $80 million per month, and her infamous brutality earned her the nickname Black Widow. Responsible for hundreds of murders, Blanco's reputation was as chilling as her wealth was massive. Eventually, she was imprisoned and later deported to Colombia, where she met her own violent end in a drive-by shooting. Number 6. Carlos Lader, the Colombian Connection. Estimated fortune, $2.7 billion. Carlos Lader, a pivotal player in the rise of the Medellin cartel, transformed the world of drug trafficking. His innovative methods included using private islands and small aircraft to transport cocaine into the United States. At the height of his power, Lader controlled Norman's Cay, a Bahamian island that served as a crucial transit hub for shipments. His wealth and influence became so vast that he even offered to pay off Colombia's national debt. But his empire crumbled when he was extradited to the US in 1987. After nearly 30 years behind bars, he was released in 2020, a stark example of how swiftly criminal fortunes can shift. Number 5. Joseph Kennedy, the political dynasty, with dark beginnings. Estimated fortune, $3.3 billion. Joseph Kennedy, the patriarch of the influential Kennedy family, reportedly built a portion of his wealth through bootlegging during Prohibition. With connections to underworld figures like Frank Costello, Kennedy's involvement in the illegal liquor trade gave him a substantial financial foundation. He later transitioned to legitimate business ventures, investing in Hollywood and the stock market. Kennedy's life story raises the question of whether wealth obtained through crime can ever be fully cleansed. His transformation from bootlegger to powerful political figure reveals how a questionable past can sometimes be recast as respectable. Number 4. Al Capone, America's original gangster. Estimated fortune, $3.7 billion. Al Capone, also known as Scarface, is synonymous with the organized crime world of Prohibition-era America. Capone ruled Chicago with an iron grip, amassing his fortune through bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution. Known as much for his ruthlessness as his charisma, he managed to stay in the public eye as a larger-than-life figure. Ironically, his ultimate downfall came through tax evasion charges rather than his violent operations, proving that even the most notorious criminals can be undone by the legal system's finer details. Capone's last years were marked by illness, and his story serves as a powerful reminder of the impermanence of ill-gotten wealth. Number 3. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the billionaire drug lord. Estimated fortune, over $5 billion. As the head of the Sinaloa cartel, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman became a criminal legend. Known for his daring prison escapes and sophisticated smuggling methods, El Chapo dominated the U.S. drug market for decades. His vast influence allowed him to evade capture repeatedly, often by bribing officials and escaping prison. However, in 2016, his luck ran out. He was extradited to the U.S. and now serves a life sentence in a maximum security facility. Number 2. Pablo Escobar, the king of cocaine. Estimated fortune, over $62 billion. Perhaps the most notorious drug lord of all time, Pablo Escobar once controlled approximately 80% of the world's cocaine market in the 1980s. His immense wealth and influence placed him among the richest individuals globally, but Escobar's rule was soaked in blood. To protect his empire, he carried out acts of terror, from bombings to assassinations, enforcing his control with ruthless violence. Escobar's life came to a dramatic end in a rooftop shootout in Medellin. Who holds the top spot? That's for you to decide. Share your thoughts in the comments on who you think deserves the title of history's wealthiest gangster. Though many of these figures amassed staggering fortunes, their lives often ended in tragedy, whether in prison, on the run, or violently. Their families fractured, their empires dissolved, and their stories remain stark warnings of the high cost of a life in crime. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you found this journey into the world of infamous fortunes fascinating, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to keep up with our latest content. See you in the next episode.